Standing on guard where we keep an eye on the enemy, and of course today we're paying tribute to the late President Daniel Arap Moi, who passed on yesterday. So the question is, where were you in 1982, if at all you were born during the coup? We'd love to hear from you. We'll put up our numbers momentarily on the screen for you also to call in and also get to drive a show with us as we continue the conversation with the panelists here in the studio. So where were you in 1982 and how were you affected by the 1982 coup that was thwarted, of course, as we've heard from our panelists? Brigadier was here, was there actually, was just a very young cadet by then, and also this was such a shocking revelation to him during that particular time. So we continue to hear from our panelists, but also get to drive the show with us. We'd love to hear from you. Our numbers will be up. Ahmed Hashi.
Well, I think that we've looked at the three periods, but there's another two more periods, and I think that we haven't talked about him as vice president because that was really a critical part of Moi's experience. People tend to talk about him when he was in power, but also when he was not in power, because this is what prepared him to get into the office of the president. Well, you know, President Moi came from a community in Rift Valley called the Kalenjin. Well, that's a subgroup, but his community was the Kalenjin, of course. So, Debal, you know, this country was dominated by people from Central and Nyanza during the early part of independence. The political heavyweights in the government during President Kenyatta's time came from Central Province. And the idea was that the cabal of the people who had were at the forefront of the political parties and the political economy of Kenya started dominating the power structure in an ethnic way. This is just a fact of history. And it is the same people who put Daniel Toroitich in power, namely Charles Njonjo. He's still alive to see, still alive. I think he celebrated his 100th birthday. And there was a great quip there before he became president that he was a passing cloud. President Moi did not become a passing cloud, he became a sitting bull. He sat on the chair and it was very difficult to dislodge him. At the ball, since the country has been characterized by this kind of ethnic politics, President Moi had to go and look for other ethnic groups to find support. And at the end, the clamor for constitutional reform and multi-party democracy also had its ethnic jingoism. I remember the late Shuki saying that, you know, why do we need to change the constitution? It's fine the way it is. And while Moi was sitting there, he had said that we need to change the constitution. So I think that the legacy that Moi leaves us is mixed indeed, but it's also heavy on the other spectrum of bringing other ethnic groups into the power structure of this country. And I think that if this country does not move ahead from the history of ethnic politics in this country, we're not going to be able to build a proper nation like Tanzania next door to us.
Thank you.
And it is that critical issue that needs to be tackled by the political elite that is in power and the ones who are coming.
Right. So if the country was, you know, in a coup and taken by the military brigadier, how will that have, you know, turned, you know, the governance of this country as it is today, if that really sailed through, you know, that particular...
Well, Diba, I'm not an advocate for military coups, and I'll never go for that whatsoever.
But we're just trying to see, yes.
Democracy and, you know, good governance and respecting the wish of the people is where we should all really be going. But history tells us that once such an incident comes in, then you'll see plenty of it. And also we've been advised that the military don't make very good political leaders. They don't. The way we run the military, of course, we are very close to our troops. We take very good care of them. When it comes to the bigger picture, it becomes different. It's very challenging for military leaders to be political leaders. And what we'll have seen definitely was more challenge from the leaders. And the fact that for us, it was more of the junior soldiers who were doing this will have been even much more worse. it wasn't the best way to go, and therefore it was good. It was indeed controlled. And most African countries that have gone through military coups have had it very rough in the succeeding years. If you go to Nigeria, particularly, you can see that plenty of that it has never been stable. Part of Sudan has seen that. Ethiopia has seen partly something in that region, many other countries, and therefore it will have been disorder, it will have been chaos, and it will take long to come out of